Do you remember Kent State?
I do. I do. My wife went to Kent State, and my brother-in-law was there when it happened. Well, I just remember the news coming in about these students being killed. The Ohio Guard had fired, and this was a tragedy. I mean, it was a tragedy that what had happened. I don't recall any particular discussion with the president. I do recall the incident. I'm sure you've talked to Bud about where the phone rang about 4:30 or 5 in the morning, and Holden says, "I'll be right over to get you. There's a car on the way to get me." And this is when Nixon went to the Lincoln Memorial, and we tried to catch him there, but we missed him, and we caught up with him up on the Capitol, and he was walking around where his desk was on the floor of the Capitol, where he had sat and so forth. Nixon was. And then he went over to the Mayflower Hotel, where he and J. Edgar Hoover used to have lunch quite often, and had breakfast, and then we went back to the White House. But it was kind of a strange day.
What kind of mood was he in?
Pensive. Nixon, he a lot of times didn't think people understood him. There is one time that I'm going to talk about here, but you could get a view from Ray Price and Pat Buchanan also. Ray, Pat, and myself, and Nixon are on a plane, and we're flying from Wisconsin to Florida. BB's going to pick us up. It's very late at night. It's like he'd finished a rally. We went and got on the plane. He had one or two of those small bottles of scotch, and he was exhausted. And the next thing I knew, he was crying. And of course, Nixon is sitting next to Ray Price, and right behind him are Pat Buchanan and me. It's a tiny jet. We're just crammed in this jet. But and it's like we were just bing, 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 bing. I mean, we're right there. And Nixon what brought this about, this emotional uprising out of him, was he was talking with Ray, who was, I think, drafting some stuff for the speech in Miami. They were starting to work on his acceptance speech and how that might work. And and this was the one in 72, or 68, I mean. And he started talking about his mother and dad and his brother, and the brother he had lost to tuberculosis and so forth. I mean, it was really bringing up stuff in him. And it really, this guy was a human being. I mean, he's running for president and so forth, but I mean, he is just not that different than us. And he's got these emotions in this thing. I wasn't there, but I read or hear about him walking through with Kissinger, or the praying thing, or this stuff, and I kind of get suspect as to how far it's been taken out of context, but because of that plane incident, I can kind of say, well, I've been there when he's really been emotional, when he's tugged and pulled, and what is it about this guy? I mean, what is it about this family thing? Where is this? What is all this about? And it's not about him being on drugs or drunk or whatever. I mean, I probably spent more time with him from 1967 through into the White House than anybody else on the